गुड न्यूज टुडे, नई उम्मीद जगाने वाला हिंदी न्यूज चैनल.
Battle for Panjshir really in the final stages is what it appears. Taliban has claimed to have taken control of Panjshir, the last area in Afghanistan being held by resistance forces. Taliban has claimed to have completely conquered Panjshir and has come under the control of the Islamic State of Afghanistan. On your screen are the images of Taliban fighters taking control of the governor's house in Panjshir. Taliban have also hoisted flag at the governor's house, making claim of the victory. Meanwhile, resistance forces commander Zabihullah Mujahid has told India today, calling Taliban's claim false. He said that resistance forces are up in arms on the mountains, around the mountainous area, and defending themselves. Earlier, resistance forces called for ceasefire, but Taliban have rejected their offer. Meanwhile, Fahim Dashti, the journalist and resistance force spokesperson, has been killed in clashes with Taliban, a charge Taliban have denied. Taliban say Dashti was killed in an internal dispute. Nephew of Ahmad Masood, General Zareh, also has been killed, along with Saleh Mohammad, chief commander of resistance forces. Sources also say that leaders of resistance forces, Ahmad Masood, is in Tajikistan for the last 3 days. Amrullah Saleh is still holding in the valley at an undisclosed location and is safe.
اتلو غیرتمنو مشرانو ته مبارکي وایو چې د دښمنانو هغه اخري ځاله چې پنجشیر یادېږي او هغه ځاله چې ټول قوتونه د افغانستان دلته راجم دي. الله اکبر الله اکبر. اسلامي امارت د اتلو غیرتمنو مشرانو ته مبارکي وایو چې د دښمنانو هغه اخري ځاله چې پنجشیر یادېږي او هغه ځاله چې ټول قوتونه د افغانستان دلته راجم.
All right, so where are the key people involved with the resistance forces just now? This is Panjshir's last stand, Amrullah Saleh. Well, he is at an undisclosed location in Panjshir is what we know. Ahmad Masood in Tajikistan for the last 3 days or so. Zabihullah Mujahid is Taliban claims under control. Talk about Pakistan's role in helping Taliban against the resistance forces, and that really has been exposed. Amrullah Saleh's close aide has told India today that Pakistan Air Force choppers are helping Taliban fighters in their fight to win the Panjshir Valley. Earlier, Afghanistan's Samangan province MP also made a similar claim, saying that Pakistan Air Force bombed Panjshir Valley. He said that Pakistani Air Force uses drones to strike Panjshir. Remember, Pakistan has reopened its airfields near Afghanistan, and this has raised eyebrows. Pakistan has activated Shamsi Air Base in the Balochistan area near Afghan border. Sources are telling India today that a significant amount of air activity has been observed in this region, which is aimed at providing tactical support to Taliban. Meanwhile, Pakistan's intel agency ISI chief is in Kabul for holding talks with Taliban. He met the chief of Hizb-e-Islami Party, Hekmat Yar, and discussed the current situation in the country. ISI Chief Faiz Hamid also went to Kabul on the invitation of Taliban, the first high-ranking foreign official to visit Kabul following Taliban's takeover of the city.
ड्रोन्स इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं या एयरफोर्स का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, वो भी पाकिस्तान की उनकी मदद से ये अंदर आ सकते हैं. तो ये पाकिस्तान की जीत है. पाकिस्तान की मदद से तालिबान ने अफगानिस्तान पे पूरे कब्जा किया. पाकिस्तान की मदद से वो पंजशीर पे भी कब्जा करने की, जो लास्ट बैस्टियन है, जो लास्ट जगह बची है, उस पे कब्जा करने की कोशिश कर रहा है.
The growing resistance between Pakistan, Taliban and China has become a cause of concern. Taliban is hoping to receive funds from Beijing for reviving Afghanistan's sinking economy. Taliban's closeness with Pakistan is also worrisome, as Pakistan leaders have already claimed that terror group is going to be helping them disrupt peace in Kashmir. Here's more. A growing nexus, a budding threat for India, and $1 trillion game. After taking over Afghanistan, Taliban is hoping to rely on China's aid to re-establish its sinking economy, curb the widespread hunger and deal with the devastating drought. Taliban called China its most important partner and is looking forward to rebuilding the war-torn nation, while Beijing looks to exploit its trillion-dollar mineral treasure. It's a win-win situation for both China and the Taliban. In return of funds, Beijing will get a major push for its One Belt, One Road initiative, an extremely controversial infrastructure project that seeks to link China with Africa and Europe through Afghanistan and Pakistan, an old ally of the door. While China provides funds, Pakistan provides logistics support to Taliban fighters. The bond between Pakistan and Taliban is getting stronger, a big cause of concern for India. Pakistan's ISI chief, Faiz Hamid, arrived in Kabul on Saturday on the invitation of Taliban Council with a high-level delegation. The growing closeness is worrisome, as Pakistan leaders have already claimed that Taliban will help them disrupt peace in Kashmir. But India has made it clear that any sort of threat will be dealt with firmly.
So as far as Afghanistan is concerned, we will make sure that any activity which is likely to flow out of Afghanistan and then find its way into India will be dealt with in the manner in which we are dealing with terrorism in our country.
But the sinister coalition between Pakistan, Taliban and China has led to rising security concerns in South Asia. Bureau Report, India Today. And amid the delay in government formation in Afghanistan, local media reports say that the Taliban affiliates have confirmed that there indeed is a disagreement between the Haqqani group and the Taliban Islamic Emirate over the division of power. India Today has learned that Haqqanis have demanded all crucial portfolios like Home, Interior and Defence Ministry. But sources say Supreme Leader Hibatullah Akhundzada hasn't really accepted these demands. Speaking to India Today, Mohammad Yusuf Saha, the spokesperson of the former Afghan President Hamid Karzai, has said the negotiations are going on with the Taliban for an inclusive government. He's added that the rights of Afghans will be respected in this government. Addressing a press briefing, Taliban spokesperson said Pakistan, Turkey, Qatar, Russia, China and Iran have been invited for the government function. Well, Taliban is expected to announce government formation in Kabul just today. Well, there were reports that Presidential Palace was all ready for swearing in of Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar as the head of the government after Friday prayers on the 3rd of September. But late evening information was that the same had been postponed by a day. Well, there are reports of fissures now over control of certain key ministries like Defence, Internal Security and Religious Affairs, also justice amongst various other factions, especially the Kandahari Taliban and the Haqqani faction of the Taliban. Gaurav Sawant with this report.
On August 15, these images went viral. Taliban at the Presidential Palace in Kabul. Taliban commanders took control not just of the Presidential Palace in Kabul, but different departments and buildings. And then began the process of government formation over several days. On the 17th of August, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar travelled first to Kandahar and then to Kabul 4 days later on the 21st of August. He had been at the Taliban political office in Doha since 2018 after spending 8 years in a Pakistani prison. Pakistan's ISI had been extremely upset that he had reportedly been trying to carry out independent negotiations with the United States and the leaders in Afghanistan. Mullah Baradar is now tipped to head the Taliban government. It's been over 18 days since Taliban occupied the Presidential Palace in Kabul and took control of Afghanistan. Almost every day there is news of the Taliban government being formed, but according to sources, information that's filtering out, there are major fissures within the Taliban and there is a major fight for power. Mullah Haibatullah Akhundzada has not been seen for years. He is the spiritual head of Taliban and was expected to lead Friday prayers on the 3rd of September before the announcement of the Taliban government. But that too did not happen. The Taliban released a picture of Mullah Akhundzada on the 30th of August. But it is not clear who all has he met in Kandahar since he arrived. There are reports that Sher Abbas Tanikzai is tipped to be Taliban's foreign minister. But there are reports of fissures between Mullah Yaqub, son of the founder of Taliban, Mullah Muhammad Omar, and Sirajuddin Haqqani over the control of weapons and soldiers. According to intelligence officials, there are fissures over control of various departments and ministries, including justice, religious affairs, and security. The Taliban comprises multiple factions, and when it came to ousting the United States or the Ashraf Ghani government, they were united. But when it comes to power, there are major factional feuds, according to sources in the intelligence agencies, between the Sirajuddin Haqqani faction, influenced by Pakistan, and of course the Kandhari Taliban, represented by Mullah Yaqub, even though he has spent considerable time in Pakistan. But the Kandhari Taliban is not as radicalized or influenced by Pakistan as the Sirajuddin Haqqani faction. Coupled with this is the issue of an inclusive government. What role and powers will leaders in Afghanistan have? Will leaders like former President Hamid Karzai and former Chief Executive Dr. Abdullah be included or wield any real authority? There is also chatter that the Pakistan army is rushing in top commanders and ISI officers to help the Taliban. It is not clear whether this help is with combating the resistance at Panjshir or government formation in Kabul. In Delhi, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.